Good afternoon, students. For today's second session of SAP, we have Nagraj sir with us. Sir, I think we should wait for 5 to 6 minutes. Right now, attendees are low once they join, and we will start the class accordingly, sir. Thank you.
Sure, Kunal. Yeah, we'll do that. Thank you. So students, as Mr. Kunal said, we'll wait for the others to join in. And probably he has also said, if anybody in the meantime has any questions, please put it up in the Q&A section. Two or three more minutes and then we will start. Let me see if there are any questions for me to start the afternoon session. I think going by the attendance, we should just wait for 2 more minutes and then we will start. Just 116. Strength is slowly increasing, but let's just wait for 1 more minute. Okay, we can start off. uh, let the other students join in at their convenience. Okay, there were questions I think which Mr. Kunal has already answered. As regards the negative marks, no negative marking. Okay, but the pass percentage is around 60 or 65. If I am not wrong, it is 65. But when I cleared the certification, it was 70%. Okay, both FI and CO certification. So we had a cutoff of 70% as a passing mark. But now I think it's come down to 60 or even 65, I guess. Internal order and cost center difference. Okay. So what is an internal order? Internal order is a temporary cost collector. In the sense, it is just one facility given by SAP to collect the cost and finally transfer it to a cost center. Now I had a example. Now there is a marketing fair, okay, where the marketing department wants to exhibit its products. So on an everyday basis, there are some expenses, right? I set up a tent, I pay the rent for the tent, I pay for the refreshments for my employees. Okay, so all these expenses, okay, they're also expenses. Perfect. Now I can also enter a cost center or an internal order for these costs. Let us say refreshment expenses account. Every day it is around 2000 rupees. All right. Now every day, now I can transfer it to the marketing department cost center itself. But now if the management wants, what is the total expense? What is the result of my monthly fare or the fare which I had for 1 month? What is the result? What is it that I have gained? If at all it wants to see the results, how will it see? When I start making the transactions directly into the cost center. Now, who's responsible? Marketing department is the responsible cost center against this particular fare. Now, every expense, okay, I can transfer it to the marketing department itself. No problem. But will the management get the result of the total fare? There could be some sales also. So somebody may buy a product from the tent, from whatever you have set up. They might buy the products from there itself. So there is also a revenue. Yeah. So like this, on a day-to-day basis, you may be incurring some transactions towards the trade fair. So your trade fair is recognized by SAP as one single block. It is a temporary cost collector which collects the cost for each and every project, small projects. I've just taken the example of a trade fair. So, and finally, what happens to this internal order? It gets settled. It gets settled. What do you mean by settling? You're transferring all the costs, whatever has happened for that 1 month, from the internal order to the cost center. So in this case, what happens? The management can also get the picture of whatever has happened in the trade. Yeah. And at the end of the trade fair, it can transfer whatever is the balance to the marketing department cost center. Was this understood? I hope I was clear. Any department can raise the internal order. It is not only the production department, anybody. So you understand the purpose of an internal order, and any related department can raise an internal order, can create an internal order. There is no restriction as to only these departments can create the internal order. But the concept of knowing the concept of internal order is very important. What is it that you achieve by creating an internal order? Okay, is it clear? You'll have to understand the purpose. Why are you creating this internal order? So once you are clear on that, then your questions will be easily answered. But for this, not only the production departments, other departments, based on the requirement, based on the need, can also raise the internal order. Now, I hope the concept of internal order and the difference between the internal order and the cost center is clear. Can this person please reply saying that thanks are understood that everyone? Yeah, perfect. So I also conclude that perfect. Perfect. So now that you have understood, so this is an indication for me to proceed. I happen to see a very interesting question. What if the student fails in the assessment? I think Mr. Kunal has given a wonderful reply. So it will not be so very difficult at your level. You're all qualified CMAs already, according to me. So I don't think the questions will be so very not understandable that you cannot clear. No problem. Okay. But in your, when we talk about the certification examination, which is conducted by SAP itself, because in the very first few sessions, somebody asked me what is certification. So certification is a process of actually telling or letting you know that you're off some standards in essay. Here, the exam is conducted straight from SAP itself, and SAP Germany has identified a few of the institutions which can conduct these examinations on behalf of SAP. Only authorized institutions, not any local institute. No, you will have to differentiate between a SAP certification and an ordinary certification. Yeah. So here also in the SAP certification also, one thing what you must understand is the language could be a little tricky. I'm talking about the SAP certification. I'm not talking about the assessment. In assessment also, there could be some tricky questions. So the secret to clear this examination is you read the question not once but twice. You will be having plenty of time to answer these questions. And as far as the certification is concerned, please mark my words, I am talking about the certification, SAP certification, and not the assessment. Your SAP certification is basically for 3 hours. Okay, you will be having 80 questions, out of which 60 to 65 is your pass percentage. Clear? And there the whole thing is probably you may find, see, as in when you read the uh, course content, what you have been given, I'm talking about the enable, what I'm showing you. You may find some typical words or typical language used in essay. Please be aware that your questions will also have the same language. So that is why I always say, please get used to the SAP language. And the course material what is being provided to you is one of the excellent materials. Now, please go through them. It could be a lot of help in your assessment as well as your SAP certification also. And there is no negative marking. No negative mark. But one thing what I need to add or what I want to add here is, suppose one question has more than one right answer, has multiple right answers. Suppose there are 3 right answers for one particular question. And if you happen to select only 2 right answers, you cannot expect a small percentage of the marks. It is completely 0 or completely 1. You get a 0 or you get 1. All the 3 options are correctly marked, you get 1 mark. And you mark 2 options correctly, you get 0. So all the 3 options should be correctly understood. The question should be understood, and all the answers, whether it is one right answer or multiple right answers, please mark them correctly. Okay, and there is no fractional marks. You will not be given half a mark, 3/4 of a mark. No, you get a 0 or complete 1. And at the same time, there is no negative marking also. And the results are being immediately displayed. I think Mr. Kunal has already mentioned. The results are immediately displayed within a matter of maybe say 1 second or something. So there is a option for you to submit. Okay, so once you submit, after you have ensured that all the questions have been correctly answered, you can revisit. Even in your assessment, Yeah, you have the option to revisit the questions. You can revisit the questions and change the answers also. Suppose you feel that you have marked question number 5 wrongly. So you happen to just revise all the questions. You can still correct the answers till you submit. Just like your SAP, right? Once you post the entry, it is gone. Before you post, you can change whatever you want. Same option. Okay. So this is about your certification. And once you are certified, I'm talking about the SAP certification, you have a global certificate. Suppose you take up your SAP certification in India, it doesn't mean to say that the certification is valid only in India. It is valid throughout the world. And see, once you are certified, the respect what you get is something phenomenal, especially when you see the overseas projects, the international projects, you will see a great demand for certified consultants. In some of the projects when we started our careers, or maybe say in the after we spent around 5, 6 years or even 7, 8 years in SAP, we used to get projects which actually wanted only certified consultants. They were not worried about the experience, but they were more bothered about these the people who are being taken into the projects getting certified or being certified. That was very, very important because that particular certificate has so much of value. Now, another interesting thing is to keep the consultant up to the current thing, whatever SAP has done, he needs to refresh or he need to recertify himself after every 1 year. Okay, earlier when we got certified, there was no such concept, but now you get certified, your certificate is valid only for 12 months, after which you need to get yourself recertified. Kunal, you can also come in between if you want me to add, if you want to add any further information, you're most welcome to add. If at all I have uh, deviated from the information or if I have said something different, you can please add. The most welcome to do it. All right, Kunal. So you got more and more like we have fixed time for a certification. We will schedule those are not available at the time of examination. Kunal, there is a question. There is a concept of you fixing up the time. So even before you take up the assessment, don't worry, you will be taken through that, where you will be asked to schedule your examination. Am I right, Kunal? They'll be asked to schedule their time, right?
Correct, sir. The date and the time in the Narji Vidya portal.
Correct.
Once the assessment will be conducted by the institute, we will release the dates.
Mhm.
Immediately you will get a notification inside the Narji Vidya. And in same platform, there is a my assessment section where you can able to schedule the date and time according to your preference. So till that you have to wait.
So dear students, did you understand what Mr. Kunal said? So once the assessment dates have been decided, you will definitely be kept informed. And when you visit the Energy Vidya portal, you will be having the option to schedule your assessment examination. Right? Can I know more about the certification? I want to pursue the same. See, the first and the foremost thing is it is a you will have to identify the recognized institute. For example, if you are a resident of Bengaluru, there is one thing called as ATOS, ATOS, and other institutes also which are recognized by SAP itself, where they is it required to download the certificate? Uh, I think yes. If you're talking about the SAP certificate, I think you'll be getting the physical copies itself sent straight from Germany. So you would have left your contact address.
But sir,
Yeah,
in Narjividya platform, which they will give the exam now, they will get a participant certificate that they have to download and print from their own.
Okay, so I understand that this question is for the assessment, not for the SAP certification. This is for the assessment certificate. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right. So was this question answered? Right. So
I'm just replying him only.
Go ahead, Kunal. Go ahead. Yeah.
You can carry on with your class, sir. I will reply to him in the chat.
Sure. Okay. You're replying to this question also, Kunal? Can I know more about the certification? Okay. Fine. Thank you so much, Kunal. Right. So, any questions regarding the topic? Let me go to the slides. Same concepts, the same language, what you would have seen in your CMA syllabus, or even in your BCom. Cost allocation, cost apportionment, all these things are there, right? So I remember when I did my CMA, I remember all this. Cost accounting and pure cost allocations. Please go through this. It is all for you to read, all for you to read. Okay. Somebody asked me how this variable analysis can be done. We touched upon a new terminology called as version. Now do you see how version is explained? If you read this, the SAP system automatically creates version 0. This version must be used for planning, for the actual, and for the cost comparisons. This is your variance analysis. So I just took you into the system also where you saw that version 0, right? We saw this, right? So if you move to the right, you can also see the variance. See here, a given version can have specific settings. So can you see this version 1? So it doesn't allow you for actuals or even WIP analysis, but it allows you for the variance. So like this, whatever the variances or the versions you would have created, it is based on the requirement, what you want from the data. How do you want to see the data? Or how the management wants to see the data. Clear? So we have seen the cost center planning. When we spoke about the internal order, I showed you where the planning, the budgeting, the planner profile. We saw all that, right? Expense planning, nothing but your cost center planning. Clear? Spend some time reading this. Okay, I'll just browse through this quickly so that conceptually I'm very sure that I'll make myself sure that I have not skipped any topic. Okay. If I see a new terminology or a new concept, definitely I will pitch in. So I think the rest of the topics are just like this, where you need to read and try to connect all the points which we have discussed. You really don't have to know. If you ask me in the initial stages, you really don't have to know how you create an activity type and go through the entire process of statistical key figures, activity types. You don't have to do all that. Yeah. Experience will teach you. You don't have to worry. Yeah. As I said, somebody was interested in the certification. You will never be a finance person alone. You will have to definitely pick up the costing side of SAP also. And you are the best people to pick up the costing side because you know the things theoretically, you are experts, but how SAP or how are the theoretical things, whatever you have read, is applicable or is transformed into SAP is all what you need to understand. It is the same concepts. Just read them through in your free time. But see, I have crossed 725 slides. But with only what was the balance? We had the integration. Okay, we will take it up shortly, or maybe say tomorrow morning we can take up. I'll just ensure that everything is being finished. Typically, all these things are what you would have read from the business side in your BCom or in your CMA. Nothing, absolutely nothing different. But how SAP achieves it, the language could be typical SAP. That is the only difference. He has exemplified a couple of things. I'll quickly browse. Maybe I'll spend another 20-25 minutes in browsing this. So you're also with me. And it's a good thing for you also because you will know what exactly you can expect from the slides. But students, till the access is given to you for enable, please use it. This is such a wonderful documentation. Okay. So I have sat to actually verify this and also go through all the slides and then finally give a thing to publish this. I was also involved in designing this. Designing this in the sense, not exactly designing, but at least after the whole process was done, I was a person who checked and said an yes. But probably you may find a little too very boring to read so much of theory, but students, it's really worth it. It's really worth it. This is also a very good concept, business planning and consolidation, BPC. It's a different module altogether, right? Just like you have FICO, you also have a BPC module, right? See, SAP BPC is a mature, fully functional planning and consolidation application. Okay. We had one of the projects involving a BPC consultant. I remember maybe around 2000. I don't remember. All theory. Okay. So after this, the last topic would be the integration. Let us touch upon maybe say after we break for coffee or tea. Till then, we'll just spend some time in browsing this particular. Another interesting thing, let me come back to one of the interesting requirements. This is away. This is not at all mentioned in your course content. Okay, if it is right. So students, I will in my leisure, I'll just ensure that all the topics are all the slides have been read through. I have already done the initial thing, but let me just. So I don't think we'll come across any other new thing. So I would leave it to you students to just go back and read. Anyway, just 20 more pages and I will stop this exercise. I think we saw this practically, planning for internal orders. Okay, I'll stop at slide 800. Now, what I wanted to tell you was we had a very interesting. This is away from the SAP topic. Okay, what I mean, SAP topic in the sense what is not involved in your course content. I'm going to explain, or I'm going to just take you through one of the best things what I saw in my SAP career was this is a normal easy access screen. Now, let us see. Now let us assume a scenario where you have a purchase order, right? Or maybe say one of the employees wants to apply for leave. He sends a mail. He applies for the leave, or there is a purchase order for 10 lakhs, purchase order for 70 lakhs. Okay, so let us assume my organization has a policy that a value, a purchase order of a value, certain value should be approved by the senior finance manager. Over that particular value, the information has to go to the, let us say, chief manager. Okay, so if at all you want to automate the system, you have to assume a scenario where I need to automate the system. How will SAP automate the system? That means, how does a PO of, let us say, 45 lakhs, how will the senior manager be in? For this, you have a system called as a workflow. Concept of workflow. Okay. Now, what used to happen in our project? Basically, I'm not going to take you through how the workflow was actually implemented. Clear? Because it is a job of a consultant. But if you see something interesting, office, SBWP workplace, do you see an inbox and an outbox? Unread documents, workflow. Now here, when you design a workflow mechanism, what happens is, so the workflow mechanism has a lot of things. Now it has to check for the value of the purchase order and the mail triggers to the respective people. Suppose I am the senior manager, the mail comes to me. So in my inbox, I read the unread documents becomes 1. How does the unread documents become 1? It is through the workflow process. So for this, what should the workflow system have? It has to have the list of the approvers. Based on the value of the PO, the workflow system should also have the list of approvers. So we also had 4 or 5 senior level managers to whom the mail should trigger. Once a purchase order flows into the system, okay, once the purchase order is created for that particular value, immediately the message goes to the senior manager, finance. And if it is greater than if it's greater than the value, the mail triggers to the chief manager. Okay, another interesting scenario. So this is where you get all the information in the form of a mail. Suppose I'm a consultant. Tomorrow I want to go on leave. Okay, so what do? I raise a leave request. Okay, and the information will flow to my immediate superior, to whomever I'm reporting. It could be the team lead, it could be my project manager. Now, my project manager or my immediate authority is absent today. Now I want my leave to be approved. Even before I leave the office premises today, I want to ensure that my leave is approved for tomorrow. What do? My manager is not available. So the system is designed in that way that in the absence of my manager, the leave request or the mail triggers to the lower level manager. In his absence, my lower level manager gets the mail and he can take a decision whether to approve or not to approve my leave. This whole thing is in your SAP and the concept is your workflow. Clear? Please do not get into the depths of what is a workflow. I simply wanted to share this information because I was thoroughly thrilled by this concept in SAP. Okay, and basically the concept of workflow is applied to your PO approval and from the HR perspective, your leave approval. And how would you set up the workflow is a different. The process is something different. Was this interesting? The concept of workflow. All right. So even while for parking or posting the documents, you can apply your workflow there also. Suppose you have to get a mail for documents greater than 10 lakhs. So the mail will immediately trigger to the manager saying that he needs to approve this particular activity from that user. Clear? This was one of the very beautiful requirements, and we were actually uh, so thrilled to know that SAP offers such wonderful things. And another interesting thing in my career was the project systems. We had to learn the project systems module, right, in one of the projects, because the person who was the PS expert, she was quitting the organization. So yeah, the responsibility for learning the project systems module came on uh, my colleague and myself. Both of us were the finance consultants. Very interesting. Where maybe it sounded a little complex in the very beginning, but over in over a period of time when we understood how things were working in the project systems module, we were thrilled. We were so happy at the learning. So let me take up any questions if you have any. No new questions. I think
Questions posted, which I also don't know exactly what to say. How SAP aids in monthly TDS compliance or like.
okay. Okay. So you have something called as a withholding tax. Is it compulsory to attend the? We will cover it after we have a coffee break now, or maybe say tomorrow morning. The integration topic is still not being done. We will look at it after lunch. I mean, after our coffee break, and then we'll take it up afresh tomorrow. Basically, you have, say, to understand your module itself, it will be a huge task. Okay, to understand as a CMA consultant, if you want to all areas of a cost accountant, yeah, you can. Obviously, you will have to, but the learning will be exhaustive. Okay. Most welcome. Okay, most of the complex, see, we had another project where we dealt with, you saw the WIP RA in our versions, result analysis. That was a quite a complex issue where we got involved in that. So very, very interesting. You come across. Okay. I can tell you how TDS is done, but the auto-populated. Yeah, I'll tell you. So how this is being configured. Now I understood your question. Just hold on. How the TDS is set up. Just hold on. Let me log on to the system. Guys, you're asking me some very interesting questions. Very nice. Just hold on. I will give you a small information about the TDS. So all the TDS rates, your sections, everything is done by the consultant. All right. Where does the consultant do as regards the TDS? Financial accounting. Financial accounting. Can you see the withholding tax? This is your TDS. So you have all the 194 CJ, whatever sections you have. You have the consultant configuring here, withholding tax, extended withholding tax, the basic settings. Okay. Calculation, maintain tax codes. And once you design your TDS based on the transactions, what you are getting involved with, the end user or what are the other settings in your master data? Basically your vendor master data, you can say it. You also have a space for your TDS in your respective master data. Can you see the withholding tax information? This itself is in accounting info. This is more than it. So here can you see the withholding tax type. So here to whatever this particular vendor is subjected to. Okay, those many things I configure here. Whatever I have configured, whatever the consultant has done here, I bring in the same data relevant to this particular vendor. Yeah, relevant to this particular vendor, I bring in that particular data, and here the system gets automated. It calculates the TDS automatically. Did I answer your question? Is this what you wanted? Was this done? Was this question answered? I also showed you the TDS. So please let me know if this is exactly what you wanted, right? So for the TDS to be taken up, you need to set up. From where do we access question bank? No response. How SAP HML? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for replying. Thank you. I'll just wait for 1 more minute for any questions, or after 1 more minute, we can take a break of 10 minutes. And then probably, if you have no further questions, we can jump into the integration concepts. Or if you want me to revise anything, we can start the integration afresh tomorrow morning. And today we can spend the remaining 1 hour or say 50 minutes for our question and answers, or maybe say revision of any other topic. Okay. So Kunal will take a coffee break.
Sir, until you take a coffee break, I will show them the portal,
Sure,
energy
sure, sure.
portal.
No, one thing, Kunal, you can show them after we take a coffee break, no? Because most
Sure,
of the
sir.
people. All right. So we'll do one
Sure,
thing.
sir.
We are back at 3:10. After that, you can take over and show them the energy port. Okay. So all right, students, we'll reassemble by 3:10. We'll have a short 10-minute break. Kunal, you want to start?
Yes, sir, just hold on, sir.
Sure, sure, sure. No problem. No problem.
Students, see, I have logged into the Nergy Vidya portal where this tile is coming SAP Start Learning. Right now, when you click on that, only learning material is available. Once the assessment will start, and two more tiles will be added here. One is assessment, another is certification. Once you clear this assessment, after might be 1 week, 2 week, in the certificate section, you will get their soft copy here. So just note it down, it will automatically update here, everything. And here see your notification section where you will get the notification whenever we will conduct the assessment. So that is the thing for the assessment only, which I want to share with you all. Thank you, students. Sir, I think you can reshare your screen so that your screen will be visible again.
Okay, Kunal. Yeah. Thanks for the update, Kunal. So I hope students are clear as regards what needs to be done. Okay. Now, do you want me to touch upon any topic even before I start off on the integration? I'll just wait for 2 minutes to just understand if you people require any assistance in any topic or I'll just wait for a couple of more minutes and then I will move on to. Oh my God, product costing. Very nice. In fact, it's a very good question, product costing. But it will take me a minimum of at least 1 month to teach you this. Very good topic, very good question also, but I need to start from the scratch about the controlling and then come down to the product cost. So after you get a good grip of about the controlling module, I would take another 1 more month to do with the product cost. At least start and set up the scenarios for the product cost. I hope I answered this question. Product costing in SAP. And moreover, you should know one thing. If this product costing is a combination of at least 2 or 3 modules, not two, at least 3 or 4 modules. One is obviously your finance, CO, controlling, your material management, and your production plan. So for you to understand a little bit of product costing, you need to have a okay knowledge in all these modules also. So that is why uh, I was trying to answer Kajal's question. She asked me what is product costing. So it is a subject which has to be dealt in depth and for which you should understand the scenarios. Okay? As I said, it is all your scenario based. Your whole of SAP, I mean, your whole of your CO module is basically, especially when you're talking about COPA, material ledger, your product costing, it is all scenario based. Okay, it is very premature. Oh, sure. Training in product costing. Yeah, let us see if I can do it. All right. Uh, all right. Now coming back to our topic, any topic which you need to be revised on the system or just like that, whatever. Activity based costing, I mean, ABC. How do I explain it to you? This also needs a fair bit of understanding of your CO module, especially what are activity types and all other things and how you talk to the HR module. You in the sense how the CO module talks to the HR module. So it is basically this is the link between your CO and your HR. As I said, it has got, especially when you're talking about the CO module, you are actually talking about a lot of complex uh, connections with the other module, HR, SD, PP. All right. So you need to have a good understanding about at least more than one module for you to and practical experience. That is what makes you this understanding of the CO module a little simpler so that you can connect the scenarios. Suppose I talk to you about a make to order scenario, make to stock scenario. So I'm talking about the activity based costing, the product, or whatever. I mean, even the product costing. So all these things you need to bear it in mind. It is more so towards the product costing, which one student has requested. So activity based costing also I cannot get into in depth. Okay. Containing the, I mean, considering the data completeness, what is available in the system, because some of the data has to come from the HR module. Okay, and I do not have a HR person to help me out. Clear? So some settings have to be done from the HR module also, right? So the same thing applies to your integration module also, because as we know, integration, it is two modules talking to each other. And for me to explain this on the system and with the scenarios will be uh, little challenging, because I require lots and lots of time for me to create the scenarios of the other module. See, if I have to create the scenario for the module, I would definitely take time, and I need to create an SD module scenario also. And HR, of course, we are integration HR also. Yeah, we'll be talking about that. Okay. Now, what we'll do is we'll try to open up the topic for our integration. So all the other slides, we have already touched 800 slides. Okay, we have just left the integration slides. So apart from that, I don't see any other thing where I can pitch in and actually help you out in understanding. So let me go back to the uh, integration. Introduction to integrated business processes in SAP. Somebody asked me if the integration topic has already been done. We are starting it now. Yes, we had a small introduction to what you can expect from the business processes. Yeah, but apart from that, we never had a detailed description or a detailed explanation into what exactly these integrated processes are, how they are achieved in SAP. Okay. Let me go slide by slide. So all these are some introductions. So the first and the foremost thing is the record to report. What is ERP integration? Oh, it's come back to the so our first session is accounting concepts. Okay, lesson 1. So an example, somebody wants to understand the financial accounting process in his or her company and how the SAP HANA system enables this. So we are all, we know this. Parallel accounting. Have you seen parallel accounting? Ledgers, the leading and the non-leading ledgers, parallel currencies. This is the concept of your parallel accounting. Okay, even before this, let me show you one small thing. How postings are happening in the foreign currency. Interesting. Just hold on for a moment. even before I start the integration. So till now, what were we doing? We were trying to enter the transaction in our local currency. Now I'll try to enter the transaction in the foreign currency. Let me see if SAP allows me to do it. Okay. Let me try to enter it in the USD. Same expense. Say some $50. Okay, clear. Enter. Now can you see it has taken up the transaction as 50 USD and it has also converted. It has also converted the amount. So what is the rate? Divided by 50. So it has to be at 82 rupees. So 82 rupees should have been the translation rate. Where do I see this 82 rupees? Anybody remembers? I go to the other transaction code where I see the currency spread OB08, where I will look for, don't bother about this, from currency INR to USD. Am I seeing this? Let me come back. Oh, exchange rate type. Let me not give anything. From currency USD to INR. Let me just check. From where is it picking up the 82 rupees? Valid from 16/3/2024. Okay, let me analyze this later. So this is from where this is the table. I wanted to bring you to the table. So for you to enable transactions to happen in the foreign currency, you must have set the translation rates. And this is how now you can post because can you see this? Balance equals 0. And you can also see both the currencies. Amount in the document currency, which is USD, and the translation amount, which is in the local INR, our local currency. I think I had not shown you this, correct? I don't remember having shown you this. So that is why even before it went out of my mind, I just showed it to you. So nice of you. Yeah, it's indeed an honor to be with you people. Let me see in-depth CO module. Let me surely check. Whole management accounting. Yes. Yes, definitely. The whole management accounting is in your CO module. Definitely. All concepts. It is the way you are aware of the system, and you should be knowledgeable enough for you to talk both the management accountants language as well as the SAP language. Here you should be an expert in both. You should be good enough in both. May not be an expert, but you should be good enough in both your theoretical knowledge on costing as well as the SAP knowledge in your CO mode. Clear? So that is what is required. Now, let us get into the study mode. So you saw one example of your parallel accounting, and we already know what ledgers are. Clear? So we all know this. I wouldn't want to spend more time on the screens which you are already. See, we have come back. We touched almost 800 slides and we are coming back to 276th slide. Okay, so now if you want to have a in-depth explanation, typical SAP explanation for your parallel accounting and whatever, you can. It is solely to meet the accounting standards like your US GAAP, IFRS, or whatever could be the other legal accounting requirement for any specific country. Okay. So why parallel accounting? You must already be experts in knowing this. Purpose of financial accounting. I would simply skip all these slides. It is for you to read them through. Okay. This sounds like an interesting topic. If by tomorrow somebody happens to read something, some very basic information, and if you ask me questions regarding that, I'll be more than happy to answer. Okay. I will simply skip all these slides, but the reason is not to miss out on anything important. So we already know this is when we talk about the ECC asset accounting and your HANA asset accounting, there are few areas where HANA behaves a little different. Okay, even before this, somebody asked me what is ACDOCA. I suddenly remembered. Sorry, I'm just shifting. I'm so sorry. But I'm just, that was actually a very interesting question. But I don't think you'll be able to see that table because how can you? Logically, you cannot see that, but let me just take a wild attempt at that. Don't bother about this transaction code. Is not active. Obviously, it is the way I was searching. It didn't mean it didn't it didn't have any logic because this is not a HANA system. So I could not see obviously the ACDOCA table. So any new term out here? So if you want me to tell you something which is equivalent to your ACDOCA table in HANA, there is something called as GLT0. This is called as a totals table. All right. This is your replacement in your HANA. All right. What you see as your totals table. Too many fields, max. See, BUKRS is the shortcut key is the technical field name for your company code. If you just click on F1, no table entries. Why? Okay, let me not get into finer things. Please spend some time, and if somebody can read it by say at least 10-15 pages by tomorrow, it will be good enough. Have you seen all this? What is general ledger accounting, organizational elements, maintaining general ledger master records, posting transactions? We have seen all this, right? Chart of accounts, this is the general ledger master records. And we have seen that when we went into the master data of one specific general ledger account, your open item, line item display, we saw all that characters, right? So that's exactly what he means by this. The leading ledger 0L is a part of the standard SAP system, which means that it is delivered by SAP. In addition, you can define any number of non-leading ledgers. This approach is known as the ledger approach or the parallel accounting. The non-leading ledgers are parallel to the leading ledger. Okay. A posted FI document normally, not normally, all the times is shown in the leading ledgers. And non-leading ledgers are need-based or assigned to the posted company codes, meaning it is only need-based. So if my company code is operating, say, somewhere in the US, so my non-leading ledger transactions, they are applicable only to that US company code. It is not applicable to my Indian company code. This is exactly what this line means. Here. And we also know how we enter transactions into the non-leading ledgers. How do we do it? Suppose now all the transactions what we did, they were affecting the leading ledger. Now suppose I want to enter a specific transaction which is specific to that particular legal requirement of that country. How do I post it into that specific ledger FB50L? Now can you see it is the system asks me as to which ledger I want to post this entry. Yeah. Let us say this is for your 1F is for your US gap. So I assign this ledger and continue to post. So this posting affects only in this particular non-leading ledger. It doesn't show up in the leading ledger. Okay. This is how the system meets the requirement of parallel accounting. All right. And that's exactly what the slide also means. Note the following information about ledger groups. Okay. I think this is more than enough. Extension ledgers are being to be a standard ledger. Okay. I think we are all okay with the understanding of what is the client. All right. Now just hold on. I will stop the sharing and I will reshare this along with the audio. So select the play button.
In the hierarchy of SAP S/4HANA, a client occupies the highest level. Each client is an independent unit that contains separate master records, a set of tables and data. In business terms, the client level corresponds to a corporate group or a group of affiliated companies. Data entered at the client level is valid for all organizational units of the client. In addition, data defined at the client level does not have to be redefined at any other level. Relevant information of data, such as exchange rates, can be entered at the client level.
Clear? So you heard the audio also. Good enough. So I don't want to keep repeating this. Okay. General ledger accounting at the company code level. So we understand what is a company code level data and what is a client level data. Do we? I hope this is clear. for people who are new to this, IDES is International Demo Education System, standard as far as SAP is concerned. Okay. So what he means by the previous slide is all these company codes, they are available for you automatically. Whenever you're given a learning system, you can see that. See, IDES International consists of 9 companies in North America, Europe, and Asia. Okay. So 0001 is also one of the company codes. 1000 is a European company code. Here. So you know what a company is. I don't have to define. Profit center. We just saw the profit center today morning, correct? So even before he is starting the integration topic, he has defined what exactly are the building blocks for your integration. So we have seen the profit center master data also. Did we see the segments? We at least know what is a segment, right? Segment is the lowest level by which my organization wants to start its reporting. So when I was giving you examples, we took up an example of a textile industry, right? Where we have the cloth and the ready-mades. So if you remember that, well and good, that is your segments. See, this is exactly what I meant by your segments, definition of a segment. Now, where do you define a segment in SAP? I think I also showed you that place. If somebody doesn't remember, I'll show it to you again. I might have to re-log in again. Typically the job of a consultant, so you don't have to worry much on that. Do you see a defined segment? So what is a segment? Let me see the slide if he has defined a segment. See, a segment represents a company area whose business activities result in revenue or expenditure and whose operating income is regularly monitored. So that means to say where the organization wants to start its reporting functionality. The segment collects the balances of all the lower level profit centers and offers additional financial reports, okay, at the segment level. Segments can also be used as a dimension for reporting purposes. So one of the basic things what a consultant does is understanding from where the reporting should start. This is a bottom-up approach. Okay? He understands the bottommost level or the lowest level from where the organization would probably start its reporting from. Clear? So that he defines as a segment, and from there, from the segment, he goes up building the structure. Clear? See, I also made a statement. The companies are obliged to provide information in their reports on the financial results of business segments. Now your segment reporting is mandatory. Okay. This requires that the segment information from internal reporting is constructed in the same way. Okay. So the understanding by the consultant is very, very important. Defining a segment. I just showed you how you define a segment. Or where exactly a segment is defined by the consultant. So I think we will stop at a couple of more slides and directly we will jump into the what should I say? The integration tomorrow with a fresh set of mind. We'll revise all this. So I will mark the slide number is 308. I will just make a note of it. I'll make note of it in the Excel sheet itself. So I have made note of the slide number where we have stopped. Dear students, do you have any questions? We have 2 more minutes left with us, or rather 1 more minute left with us. Let me just quickly make note of questions, or if Mr. Kunal has answered. Thank you for teaching. Most welcome, most welcome. Thank you. We'll just wait for 1 more minute, and if you have any questions, and if we have time to resolve, or if we have time to answer, I will answer, or I'll carry forward your question for tomorrow morning. Yeah, students. Kunal, can we wind up for today?
Yes, sir.
So thank you, dear students. Meet up tomorrow morning by 11. So we will start the integration concept tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. See you tomorrow morning.